Continuing with the 2024 college football season team predictions, recently I did the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Colorado Buffaloes, and today the Alabama Crimson Tide. And Alabama is going to be a team to watch just like every single season, but this season more than ever before, at least in a very long time, as this is the first season in the post-Nick Saban era. Once it was announced Nick Saban was retiring, whoever became the next head coach for Alabama was going to be under the most pressure of any coach in college football history. With everything Nick Saban accomplished, with the program Nick Saban built, a winning culture, if you don't win the national championship, it's a disappointing season to your program standards. And they hired Kalen Deboer. And I saw a lot of people talk about how Kalen Deboer was not the number one choice for Alabama. But even if that is truly the case, I feel like Kalen Deboer is an outstanding hire for Alabama. Kalen Deboer has had success everywhere he has gone. And Kalen Deboer is very good with the transfer portal, including bringing in Michael Penix Jr. from the transfer portal from Indiana. And Michael Penix Jr. was a Heisman Trophy finalist. He led Washington to the national championship game. Michael Penix was a top 10 pick in this season's NFL draft. And Alabama is a historic program, and he's going to be starting off with a lot of talent, as players are still going to want to commit to Alabama due to its historic program and its winning culture. Alabama returns 13 starters this season, 7 on offense and 6 on defense, including Jalen Milroe. And I cannot wait to watch Jalen Milroe in a Kalen Deboer system, as Jalen Milroe did not get off to the strongest of starts last season, but as the year progressed, I felt like he got better as a quarterback. And now he is going to be learning under who I feel like is an offensive genius in Kalen Deboer. Now, one thing that is, at least when you think about it, it's going to affect Alabama, but I don't think it will as much as people think. They lost their 2 top rushers from last season and their top 3 receivers. But a program like Alabama, yes, it does kind of hurt you a little bit. But when you're a program like Alabama, you just have to reload, and I really think Alabama's going to have no problem with reloading and replacing these guys. I'm not sure who's going to start at running back for Alabama this season, whether it's Justice Haynes or Jam Miller. If I had to guess right now, I think maybe Jam Miller will be the starter. But I don't know exactly how much Alabama is going to run the football this season, as I do feel like we're going to see Jalen Milroe throw a lot more than last season. But someone to watch for on the Alabama offense, in my opinion, Jermaine Bernard. As he was buried under the depth chart at Washington the last 2 years, and Jeremy Bernard, I'm not sure if it's Jermaine or Jeremy, but if somebody can clear the air in the comment section, really appreciate it. That way I don't mess it up during the season. But I have a feeling Bernard is going to be potentially the top option for Jalen Milroe in the passing game. And before I get to predicting the team schedule, as I have seen some people online talk about how Kalen Deboer is already on the hot seat and he hasn't even coached a game for the Crimson Tide yet. As I have had conversations with someone off the record, and he was telling me that if Alabama does not have a good first season with Kalen DeBoer, that he might be fired, if not on the hot seat at the very least. But I feel like even if Alabama, if they go, let's just say 9-3, as much as Alabama is a historic program, you can't just put a coach on the hot seat after one bad season. When you think about what Kalen DeBoer has done in his coaching career, this is going to be his biggest challenge yet. And yes, he is under the most pressure of any coach in college football history. But if there is one guy that I think is up for the challenge, it is Kalen DeBoer. And with him being good at getting players from the transfer portal and with recruiting, players are still going to want to play at Alabama because of their winning culture and their history. So he's going to have the best talent that he has ever had in his coaching career. And I will be shocked if Alabama does not win a championship within the next 3 to 4 seasons at the most. Because I do think Kalen DeBoer is somebody that can get Alabama back immediately to their championship ways, to winning national championships, as it's been about 4 seasons now since Alabama has last won the national championship. Yeah, they last won in 2020, 21, 22, 20. Yeah, it's been 3 seasons, but this would be the 4th season if Alabama doesn't win the national championship this season. Without further ado, let's get to predicting Alabama's season. The Kalen DeBoer era in Tuscaloosa begins on August 31st against Western Kentucky. September 7th, they host South Florida. September 14th, they go on the road at Wisconsin. September 28th, after a bye week, they host Georgia. October the 5th, on the road at Vanderbilt. October 12th, at home against South Carolina. October 19th, on the road at Tennessee. October 26th, at home against Missouri. November 9th, at LSU after a bye week. November 16th, they will host Mercer. November 23rd, they'll go on the road to take on Oklahoma. And to end the regular season on November 30th, they will host Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Looking at this schedule, I feel like the definite wins for Alabama, Western Kentucky, South Florida. I think Wisconsin is a definite win for Alabama, and I really do think there's going to be people that will talk about, well, Wisconsin has a chance to win that game. But Wisconsin, to me, they are not as good of a team as they once were. Vanderbilt, a definite win for Alabama. South Carolina, Mercer will be a definite win. I think Auburn is a definite win, and I do think when you look at the other 5 games I've yet to mention, at home against Georgia, on the road against Tennessee, at home against Missouri, at LSU, and at Oklahoma, I have a feeling Alabama, they, at the very least, will win 2 of those games. And I would lean towards them winning against Missouri and Oklahoma. I'd say the absolute worst case scenario for Alabama this season is 8-4. Then that's the absolute worst. I do think if I had to place a bet right now on how many games Alabama wins this season, I'd say 10-2 with losses to Georgia and LSU, Tennessee, with that being a road game, I do think that would be 50-50 at this point. But I do think 10-2 for Alabama, maybe 9-3, depending on how Tennessee looks going into that game. Many people anticipate Missouri having a good season, but I just think I'd lean towards Alabama winning that game. But comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, which team should I predict next? So to close it out, worst case scenario for Alabama, the absolute worst case scenario, 8-4. What I think they're going to end up being this season, 10-2, maybe 9-3. Which I do think 9-3, being an SEC team, maybe that could be enough for Alabama to sneak into the playoff. But 10-2, I think they definitely would get in at that point, considering they are an SEC team as well. And I would say it would be a successful first year for Kalen Deboer, but not for Alabama as a program, of course, because Alabama is a program that they expect a championship every single season. But 10-2 with losses to Georgia and one of the road games against Tennessee and LSU, I think that'd be a really good season for Alabama, considering the circumstances that this is the first year that Nick Saban is not the head coach for Alabama since 2006. But until next time.